Why did Taylor Swift and Blake Lively actually break up?
It started with rumors of a set feud, but were the private texts already signaling a breakup between Taylor and Blake? The whispers around the It Ends With Us production didn't just stay on set, they moved into unredacted courtroom documents. Imagine the world's biggest pop star realizing her private friendship was being treated like a plural unit for a legal battle. This shift, built on corporate messaging and calculated praise for a director Blake called a clown, created the perfect storm for Taylor's exit. The tiny Violin comments and the leaked text strings aren't just gossip, they are a masterclass in how Hollywood power players attempt to control a narrative from the inside out. Did Blake Lively treat Taylor as a confidant or a valued customer in her PR war against Justin Baldoni?
This reason as to why they broke up, or a little bit more clarity, because, Kim, I was honest. Honestly, I was shocked when I saw that Taylor was actually still involved, even through the New York Times lawsuit. Seemingly knew about the dragons. I'm like, well, then why did she leave? Did she really just bounce as soon as it got a little hot out there? Let's go through these texts. Kim is going to read with me. We'll give you some of our insight, and then we have some other updates.
The world thought the bond between Taylor Swift and Blake Lively was an unbreakable Hollywood fortress, the ultimate squad gold standard, but the unsealing of their private text messages has exposed a crack that no one saw coming. For months, the internet has been spiraling with one question: why did Taylor Swift suddenly dip from the It Ends With Us drama just as the public backlash against Blake started to peak? While fans speculated about scheduling conflicts or private fallout, the unredacted digital trail reveals something much more calculated. It wasn't just a quiet exit, it was the result of a high-stakes PR maneuver that left the world's biggest pop star feeling like she was talking to a corporate headquarters instead of her best friend. If Taylor Swift, a master of her own narrative, felt like a pawn in Blake's game, it forces us to re-examine every casual celebrity friendship we see on camera.
Taylor Swift text, because I honestly, this is incredibly revealing. Kim, will you do a dramatic reading with me? Do you want to play Taylor? I'll play Blake.
Sure.
Woohoo, let's do it, guys. Blake, if you get here with this doofus director of my movie is still here, I'll be ushering him out, but hope he's still here. Can you do me a huge favor? I need help with it. Can you tell him you're excited for the movie, that you read the book, but that you're freaking out over is the pages I sent you? What a magnetic scene it is, or whatever descriptives you feel comfortable with. I'll send you the scene. You don't have to read it, of course. It's a quick read. He's a clown and thinks he's a writer now and got this rewrite and told me he appreciates my passion. That's it. So I'm having the greatest living storyteller unknowingly echo to him how much you love what we're doing. Giving him credit as if he wrote them with me will go such a long way. You dug a movie out of a grave once already for me. Attached URL, da-da-da.
I'll do anything for you.
I love you. Thank you. Text me when you're on your way. I'll have Molly meet you in the security in the garage.
Headed your way. I'm on your street. See you soon.
See you soon. Sophia headed down now. Okay, right now this was that meeting, right, Kim, where they all met. That we knew about this from the timeline, but that was what we heard. That was the text before that.
The internet went into an absolute frenzy when the first batch of texts showed exactly how Blake Lively orchestrated Taylor's involvement in the production of It Ends With Us. This wasn't a casual visit between two friends, it was a tactical deployment designed to shift the power balance on set. In the messages, Blake literally coaches Taylor on exactly what to say to the director, Justin Baldoni, before she even arrives at the security garage. Blake asks Taylor to tell him she's freaking out over specific pages she sent her, describing the scene as magnetic or whatever descriptives Taylor felt comfortable with. The intent was clear: use Taylor's status as the greatest living storyteller to unknowingly echo support for Blake's creative rewrites and undermine the official director. Blake explicitly tells Taylor that having her praise the script would go such a long way in managing the man she calls a clown who thinks he's a writer now. This specific phrasing shows that the creative environment was already poisoned by a lack of respect for the director's vision. Blake wasn't just asking for a friend's opinion, she was looking for a celebrity endorsement to use as leverage in a professional dispute. It paints a picture of a production environment where Taylor Swift was brought in as a high-profile secret weapon to neutralize Baldoni's authority. For viewers, seeing Taylor used as a tool for set politics was the first real sign that this friendship had a very professional and perhaps very exhausting underside that the public was never supposed to see. The texts reveal that Blake even offered to send the specific scenes to Taylor, noting she didn't even have to read it, as long as she gushed about them in front of the director. This level of orchestration suggests that the natural chemistry we see between these stars is often a carefully rehearsed performance for the benefit of industry power plays. When the public sees Taylor Swift supporting Blake Lively, they assume it's a genuine show of solidarity, but these documents prove that the support was requested, scripted, and timed for maximum impact on a struggling production. The greatest living storyteller was being asked to tell a story that wasn't hers, all to help Blake dig a movie out of a grave that she felt Baldoni was burying.
Now the meeting happens, ready? And here we go. Blake sends the meeting after. You were so epically heroic today. I recapped every moment to Ryan. I kept remembering stuff. You making shit up about me and the lenses, referring to yourself as my doll. This clown falling for all of it, but also resisting it. You are the world's absolute greatest friend ever. I won the lottery.
I won the lottery. You are the coolest person in the world, and you like me.
Cringe. Attached Aladdin emoji. The most bonkers part to me is him saying to you, he doesn't know pop culture. Made me more mad than anything he's done to me. Can we pause, Kim? Close up. The fact that he didn't gush over Taylor Swift. Oh my God, you're Taylor Swift! Is the worst thing that happened to her. Worse than anything he did to her. Did you guys see that? Worse than the trailer incident. Worse than the dance. Like, well, I guess, oh, wait, that stuff didn't happen yet at this point, right? I'm trying to get my time. This is before we shot. But this just shows you how much they hated him before it all happened. It's not like any of that like actual alleged. It's funny because nothing even happened. Why are they so mean to him before anything happened, Kim? The timeline's so messed. But that's the worst thing that happened to her is the fact that he didn't gush over Taylor Swift.
The deeper these unsealed texts go, the more they reveal a strange, deep-seated hostility toward Justin Baldoni that predates any of the alleged toxic behavior on the actual set. After the strategic meeting took place, Blake sends a massive wall of text to Taylor, recapping every moment like a battle report. Interestingly, the thing that seemed to enrage Blake the most wasn't a professional disagreement, but the fact that Baldoni didn't gush over Taylor's presence. Blake describes the interaction as opposite day, claiming he was acting like he didn't know pop culture just to act cool and fit in. She calls his behavior effing enthusiasm fandom in reverse, claiming he was trying to look cool enough to fit in by ignoring the fact that one of the most famous women on Earth was in the room. What's wild is that Blake characterizes this, a producer simply staying professional and not fanboying, as more infuriating than anything else he'd supposedly done to her. She goes on a lengthy rant about his toxic masculinity, claiming he Monetized his brand with TED Talks while acting green and rude. To an outside observer, it looks less like a victim describing a hostile workplace and more like a high-tier celebrity upset that a clown didn't follow the established social hierarchy. Taylor's responses in these early threads are noticeably shorter and more passive, offering support with lines like "I'll do anything for you," while Blake dominates the digital space with high-energy vitriol. The host of Popcorned Planet pointed out how absurd it was for Blake to be raging over someone not knowing pop culture, suggesting that the bar for offensive behavior in Blake's world is set remarkably low. It shows a disconnect from reality where a lack of celebrity worship is interpreted as a personal attack and a sign of being a supervillain. The rant even touches on Steven Spielberg, with Blake arguing that no one would ever feel comfortable telling him they didn't know his work. By comparing Taylor Swift's celebrity status to Spielberg's cinematic legacy, Blake was framing Baldoni's lack of fandom as a professional insult of the highest order. This logic reveals a set culture where status was the primary currency, and anyone who didn't recognize that currency was immediately targeted as a liability. It explains why the environment became so polarized. It wasn't about the work, it was about the ego.
Okay, let's keep going. His brand is displaying toxic masculinity. He monetizes it. He does TED Talks, but says that to you. Not only is it rude, but it's untrue. The thing that enraged me is you are an absolute league of your own and being both the most popular artist alive and one of all time, but the most respected and awarded. Popularity doesn't normally concede with laurels. In very few cases it does. Steven Spielberg, for example, that's one. Do you think for a moment he would have felt comfortable saying that to him, even if he didn't know his work? You would never make a point to say Steven Spielberg about his work that you don't know him because you don't know pop culture. You don't know it because you don't know pop culture. I've been raging ever since, even though I know it comes from what you perfectly said. He just so wants to be in the room, but has to act like he doesn't. I see it. I understand that it's opposite day with him. He's so green. He thinks that's what makes him cool enough to fit in, when in fact he's in fact it's effing enthusiasm, fandom, and respect for those killing it that shows you're confident with where you are in life. I'd be raging. I've also been raging at the NYU thing. I honestly want to retroactively take you out to dinner to celebrate that. You deserve to be studied. You are a human masterclass. F. Yes, they see it. Up hatches. I'll stop now. I love you and R and my babies and more. Get more protective about your hearts than mine sometimes. I'm so much less forgiving when it comes to someone messing with someone I love than when someone messes with me. I'm done. I just love you, and I'm so ecstatic and grateful for you today. That was stupid.
The turning point in the friendship and the smoking gun for why Taylor eventually retreated is captured in a series of texts from late last year. Blake reaches out, sensing a shift in the energy and admitting she felt like a bad friend for talking only about her own drama for months. She asks if she did something unintentionally and offers to be a better friend, mentioning she felt needy and awkward. But Taylor's response is a masterclass in setting boundaries with a high-conflict personality. She tells Blake directly that her recent texts felt like reading a mass corporate email sent to 200 employees. Taylor points out that Blake had started using the word "we" 18 times in a single thread, acting like a plural unit rather than the funny, dark, normal-speaking friend she used to know. This plural unit refers to the way Blake and Ryan Reynolds often present themselves as a unified front in their business and PR dealings. Taylor's critique was sharp. She missed the person she could actually talk to, not the brand ambassador who was constantly over-packaging simple things. This distance was both geographical and emotional, and Taylor clearly felt the weight of Blake's mounting legal and PR issues. Blake's defense to Taylor is incredibly revealing. She admits she has become digitally paranoid and is texting like she's writing for an audience because she knows a lawsuit is coming. She describes internalizing the idea that everything digital may be public, which is a hauntingly accurate prediction given that these texts are now being analyzed by millions. This admission is massive. It shows that Blake was already treating her private conversations with her best friend as potential legal evidence or PR copy, which effectively killed the authenticity of their bond. The paranoia even extended to phone calls, with Blake referencing a voicemail that didn't show up on their thread, causing her more anxiety about who might be listening. Taylor's reaction to this was to keep her distance, telling Blake she was falling asleep and would listen later, a classic way to disengage from a high-stress conversation. This shift from personal connection to valued customer feedback is what ultimately signaled the end of the squad's most powerful alliance. Taylor wasn't just avoiding the drama, she was avoiding a friend who had turned their relationship into a business transaction.
Kim, I just need help as a woman. You're a woman who has friends who are women. Is this how you guys talk?
It's not how I talk to my friends. I don't really think so, but I do find it very interesting that it seems that Blake is dominating the conversation here. In both of those text things, you can tell, like, it's going to be comments like, "Oh my gosh, Andy, you never let Kim talk," and it's even happening in these text message conversations. Like, I've barely said anything. It's been like, "Yeah, I'll do anything for you. I won the lottery. You're a great friend." That's it. That's all she said.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, do you think that's because she just? Thank God she didn't say, "I know, right? Why didn't he say something?" Because that would have made me so mad at Taylor Swift that she actually is admitting that to her close friends. Because I would think, as a celebrity, I'd be uncomfortable about people fangirling or fanboying about.
One of the most disappointing and culturally explosive revelations for fans involves Taylor Swift's own words regarding Justin Baldoni's personal history. In one unsealed thread, the two discuss an article where Baldoni talks about being sexually traumatized by a past relationship. Taylor's response, referring to it as him getting out his tiny violin and accusing him of trying to save himself through a victim narrative, has sparked an immediate and intense backlash. This comment suggests a level of callousness that many fans find hard to reconcile with Taylor's public image. For a star like Taylor, who has built an entire brand on the Believe Women movement and fighting for accountability in the music industry, seeing her minimize someone else's trauma simply because he was at odds with her friend has left a sour taste in the public's mouth. It suggests that within this elite inner circle, the standard of empathy only applies to those who are currently in favor. The irony of mocking a man's trauma while simultaneously accusing him of toxic masculinity was not lost on the commentators who analyzed these transcripts. The commentary around these texts suggests that Taylor was fully in the tank for Blake's version of events, to the point of mocking a man's history of abuse. Critics are now pointing out the hypocrisy of a human masterclass in songwriting, using her wit to sharpen a PR knife against a colleague. This specific exchange is being viewed as the moment the good guy narrative flipped, showing a side of Taylor that contradicts her public-facing values and suggests she was a willing participant in the supervillain gaggle Blake was venting about. Fans are also questioning what Taylor was told by Blake that led her to be so dismissive. Blake's texts often framed Baldoni as a manipulator who was clever about this ish, implying that any show of vulnerability from him was just another tactic. By buying into this us versus them narrative, Taylor became an accomplice in the character assassination of a colleague she barely knew. It raises questions about how much of Taylor's public advocacy is genuine and how much of it is shaped by the social politics of her immediate circle.
TMZ said that they had a well-connected source close to Taylor, who told them that Taylor came to Blake's apartment at the time that Blake told her to, not knowing that anyone else would be there. We know that's not true. In other words, Taylor had no idea that there was going to be a meeting with Justin. And the source went on to say Justin was about to leave after the 2-hour meeting as Taylor walked in, and she introduced to him for the first and only time. We're told all Taylor said to Justin was how excited she was to see the movie because he was her friend's boss. And then our source says that Taylor believes Blake timed her meeting well, so Taylor would arrive before he left, and is baffled by Blake later characterizing her as a dragon. The source adds, "It's weird to say that about a friend."
As the legal battle between Blake and Justin escalated into a billion-dollar liability, the question shifted from gossip to the courtroom. Would Taylor Swift actually take the stand? Initial reports from TMZ suggested that Taylor was on the verge of being called as a hostile witness because her texts were so contradictory to the public narrative. The texts essentially proved that the drama was being manufactured by Blake's team long before any actual incidents occurred. While sources close to Baldoni's legal team later claimed they wouldn't need her because the texts speak for themselves, the damage to the friendship was irreversible. Taylor had already dipped from the situation, likely realizing that her private receipts were now a matter of public record. The theory floating through Hollywood is that Taylor Swift signed up to support a friend during a movie release, but she did not sign up for a full-scale legal war built on corporate texting and coordinated New York Times hit pieces. Once the drama transitioned from on-set friction to courtroom discovery, Taylor realized that being Blake Lively's secret weapon came with a reputational price she wasn't willing to pay. She found herself caught between a friend who was using her for PR leverage and a legal reality that made her own private words look like a liability. The retreat wasn't just about being busy, it was about survival in a PR storm that Blake had manufactured. As the texts reveal, Blake was already planning the long game with her publicist and comms team, stating that everyone weighs in before they even respond to a text. Taylor, who has spent years perfecting her own public image, likely saw the Blake Incorporated machinery as a threat to her own brand. The final messages between the two show a clear read and forget energy from Taylor. Blake ends her long rants with Blake Incorporated jokes and I love you emojis, but the silence from Taylor's end grew louder as the legal stakes grew higher. By the time the TMZ reports about her being a hostile witness surfaced, the friendship had moved from squad goals to a cautionary tale about the dangers of mixing high-stakes business with personal loyalty. Taylor didn't leave because she stopped caring. She left because she realized she was being used as a shield for someone else's battle.
This is a long video. I want to recap it. The final step is, now that TMZ article, there's reports that she will be called as a hostile witness in trial. Now, this was a weird story, and a lot of people were reporting that was pulled. Some thought it was pulled because of Tree, Taylor Swift's publicist. But interestingly, TMZ updated it with a little segment. A source connected to Justin's legal team tells TMZ it will be next to impossible to serve Taylor with a summons. And the text messages speak for themselves, so they won't need her as a witness. So it almost feels like they didn't leak this. It almost feels like maybe Blake leaked this to make Taylor angry. And then Justin's team got in there and was like, no, we're making it clear we don't want him. This whole thing is bizarre, and it's still unclear why she totally dipped. Kim, I'm not going to lie. You get a little sense from that exchange that she felt was about. But still, what after the lawsuit then dropped?
In the end, these unsealed texts didn't reveal a villain in Justin Baldoni. They revealed the cold, calculated PR machine that lives inside a celebrity friendship. Blake Lively's attempt to use Taylor Swift as both a creative wedge and a character witness backfired the moment Taylor realized she was being treated as a patron of Blake Incorporated rather than a confidant. It's a stark reminder that in the celebrity niche, even the most iconic friendships are often just another layer of a carefully constructed script designed to manage public perception. Before we buy into the next squad post or red carpet hug, we have to ask, is it a real connection, or is it just a business strategy that hasn't been unredacted yet?